So, in today's episode of The Moving Teacher, we will hear from Travis. He is a friend, close friend of mine that's taught in China for several years and knows a lot. In this interview, it will be about 10 to 15 minutes as we try to get in deep into details. So, Travis, how are you?
I'm doing good.
So, tell us about what made you to teach abroad.
Well, actually, my reason to teach abroad was a part of another reason to go overseas. Initially, I wanted to go over to Asia to play American football, and then teaching was basically the side, going to be like my side job to keep me basically uh, basically to like receive money and that kind of stuff to keep me going. Yeah, so that was my initial reason for going overseas.
But what made you to go into China specifically and not maybe South Korea or Japan, where I know most foreigners like to go? But why China?
China was probably the easiest to find a job. I did try Korea, but um, sort of took a little bit longer to actually find something good because the school I was sort of applying with, they took too long to get back. So I tried China, and then literally within a couple of days of applying online, um, they contacted me and then set up like an interview. And then basically after I did the interview, a few hours later, they told me I had got the job. So I found it a lot sort of easier to get a job in China.
So before you went to China, what were some things that you did that you prepared, or were you went to China and then said, "I'll just see how life goes"?
Let's see how it was because I didn't really prepare too much. I sort of knew a little about China and what to expect. I literally just went over there. I did the visa and everything. As soon as I got that, went over, and then just I really planned on staying 1 year, and then I was going to go to Korea for a year and then Japan for a year. Um, but yeah, I probably should have done more research, but it actually worked out well for me. Um, just sort of going in and see what was going to happen.
No, it's yeah, because I know we taught at the university, and I won't say the name, but I know we taught at the university. But how was it for you to teach students in higher education?
It was, to be honest, it was hit and miss because it's all really dependent on the students themselves. You can try and well, I would try to sort of do more higher level type stuff, but if the level of English is sort of um, not so great, then you can't really do a whole lot, and you sort of have to keep it pretty basic. You sort of have to keep it pretty basic. So it really depends on the students, and most students I found only like out of probably a class of about 40 or so, maybe only like five are really interested in actually learning. Because we were also teaching non-English majors, which are sort of not so great because they sort of don't really have an interest in English compared to the English majors. So that was a challenge in itself, but I think it was still a good enough experience.
Yeah, because I know the same thing with me when I taught in China. When you got English major, they were more wanting to learn. When you got the non-English, they more want to do things within their majors or hobbies like basketball, fashion, other
Yeah.
things. I guess how those students that were wanting to learn, like what made them to stand out and how did you help them out?
Uh, Mainly they were the most engaging in the class. So I usually found if you usually have a class monitor that we would assign in the first week, they can be most things that they wanted to learn. And then helping them just to like give them sort of advice on how they can basically improve their English. So whether that's talking to more people in English, like their own Chinese friends in English, even though they think it's a bit weird. Even just practicing that can be of use. Talking to more foreigners, um, even though where we were situated in China, there wasn't a whole lot of foreigners in our area, but at least talking to the other foreign teachers, engaging in conversation. Um, Even stuff like just watching American shows or English shows, because that from a few of my friends, I've heard that they've picked up English quite well from just doing that. It was more just engaging in sort of that environment, um, and then if they really want to do it, sort of try and get uh, 'cause in I think in April in China there's that trade fair. So in basically volunteering at that, so you can speak to more business type people who speak English, and then seeing how you go around more foreigners. So I would encourage them to do that. But if they some a bit scared to do it because it's a bit out of their comfort zone. So um, yeah, trying to basically uh, help them do that. So yeah,
Yeah, because I know that's one thing we tackle. I know we try to make the career development business club things. I know they got some students active, and then also I know Toastmasters, where then it open up the student side to say, "Wow, our level of English has to be actually at this level, not just hello, goodbye, I'm fine, and
yes,
you."
yeah.
Yeah, because I know. Um, but do you think teachers should do more of those things? Just bring out students to like cultural fairs, whether it be or Toastmasters or other thing, get them. Because I know once teachers leave, students don't really have much resources after class. So would those be other resources or any other resources you will know?
Yeah, I would say that would probably be the best. So I do have a friend at the moment. Since we've basically left China, she's continuing to do Toastmasters, and her English has improved quite a fair bit, and is more even more open and can speak like 5 minutes, doing without like reading off a sheet of paper. So that kind of stuff is good. Definitely sort of trying to intern with foreign companies that are in China, like the sort of each country has their own sort of commerce, um, sort of business within China that helps out that particular country's businesses that are trying to open up in China. So even that can be quite good because you're around more foreigners. Even just like basically just um, making friends with foreigners is pretty much good enough because you'll sort of learn from them their culture, how they how they go about their life, and you can pick up stuff from them. So try and basically just expand um, your friend pool. Basically, that would be quite useful.
Yeah, no. And you bring a lot of points because it is true. Students have to also get engaged and find those resources because just teaching one time a week or even two, 3 times a week, their level of English or even Spanish, German, whatever, it's never going to go high unless they use it outside. And I only is have 2 questions left. Uh, how did you transition or prepare for life after teaching?
Um, when I did come back to Australia 2 years ago, it was a bit took me a little bit of time to adjust, even just to people speaking English on like on a more common basis, because that was a bit I would say a little bit eye opening because I was in China for over 2 years and you don't really hear English that often. So even just coming back here, um, even that took a little bit of time, maybe like a few weeks or something. But getting back into sort of working as well, like working every day, that took a little bit of time too. Because when I was in China, we would only really work half a year, just during the school semesters, and then the other part of the year was basically holidays for us. So we're really working all day. So coming back and remember and basically having the daily routine of going to work every day, Monday to Friday. That took a little bit of time too, but now it's pretty good. And it's back to like normal how I was before I left. So um, it yeah, it's going quite well since I've basically came back because I'm actually not teaching anymore. Um, I'm doing sort of in another field at the moment, which I do enjoy.
No, that's true because I think that's what happens with many teachers. Once they finish, they forget about life after teaching, and then because their funding or savings goes away very quick because there's no job, and then trying to find a job within their country becomes difficult because people employers will say, "What was this teaching English?" But if you have the
Mm.
relevant skills, it helps out more, even networking. And then my final question is, what is one thing that has helped you, or were you grateful from your time in teaching?
Honestly, it would probably actually be meeting you because my first year, even just the teaching aspect of it, I was sort of not really. I my lessons sort of weren't structured in a way, in like a sort of a professional type way. Sometimes I would try to wing it in the first year, and it wasn't really planned from week to week. And also just sort of my kind of attitude when I first started was just to try and be their friend, like someone that could help them. And that sort of negatively affected my teaching because if I tried to sort of get strict or get them to do certain things, there'll be more sort of uh, they'll be less likely to do it, or they'll be more not as willing to do it because like you're so nice to them, they'll sort of take advantage of it. But then since being new in that second year, and then because everything was more structured and professional, and we had set things we were going to do each week, and certain rules that needed to be like followed for the classroom, that helped me like a lot. And students were basically they knew as soon as they came in where they were sitting, how they basically have to act and not really engage. But that second year when I met you, it was basically you cannot be on your phone, you cannot just come here and sleep or whatever. You're going to engage in the classroom. So that helped me quite a lot. And I was actually quite proud of the way I taught in that second year, um, which was quite good. So I do have to thank you for all of that.
No, and thank you as well, because you also supported me because that was my first time teaching higher education. Learning from you there, I gained a lot more of how to teach and getting more ideas because I was opposite in the beginning. I was like more strict because it was like I know I have to teach them, but I can't have them be on the phone or being distracted. But then I started to teaching about career development, things of that nature, because then they saw of okay, whether we're majoring in engineering, jewelry, English, that they started to see not just about learning about the second language, but why studying now within their major is going to help them out later. Because I know they saw their senior students struggle, they saw their job fairs, and they were saying, we don't want to work at a bad job. We want to have a higher level job. And even when I brought them to Toastmasters, they saw that immediately because they saw, wow, we need to step up our game. No,
Yeah.
but thank you so much, Travy, for being part of the Moving Teachers podcast and being our first guest. Thank you so much.
No, right. So thank you, Brian.